trust in me, and you will find. And time goes by so naturally while you receive infinity.
Okay, Leo, we're going to get into your spirituality reading here for the October fall Halloween season of 2024. This energy can run you into November, even the beginning parts of December, so keep that in mind. Never substitute my instinct for your own, and you should be okay. Okay, the first card that we have for you, Leo, is the Five of Cups. That's not good. That's unhappiness. That is focusing on the negative side of things. There's 3 spilled cups there, and we're very sad about it. There's 2 cups in the background. We're not noticing that because the sadness is overwhelming. So it's not a good energy to come from. We may be in sadness here at this time, having to do with something or other. So as we move into the present, the card that we get there from the Pulp Tarot is the Hierophant. Yeah, that can speak to faith, religion, someone of higher authority, even in this way of religion. It can speak to someone who may be a good ear to listen to, or someone who may have good advice for us, is the sense. It just sits there. Like, I don't feel it connecting with you, but I feel like it's an option that we're not taking, because it's like maybe there's someone out there we can talk to about our sadness, but we're not taking it there. We're just sitting in our sadness, and we're not discussing it with anyone, is the sense. So very personal and private. But we do have options of people around us that could help us out, is the sense that I'm getting. Okay. Now, again, we're not tapping into that. They're not tapping into that. I said, okay, I got it. So, I can be thick too at some moments. So, I don't know why I'm in such a giddy mood. It's not good. It doesn't follow this reading, so I gotta tone it down. Okay. You know what I am? It's funny because I was sitting in the thing and I'm like, where the hell are my glasses? I just had them. And I'm like, 5 minutes. I go get another pair of glasses, and then I go to scratch my head and they were on top of my head, and I was just laughing at myself. That's why I was, sometimes I can be like that. Now, next card, telling on myself. Absent-minded. The focus is, right, the sadness here. And my focus is the reading instead of where the hell did I put my glasses? So there's a sense here that, maybe we could lighten things up quite heavily, if I oxymoron that sentence, if we were to go outward with our story, is the sense that it may not be such a big thing. Okay, as we go into the future here, the card that we get is the Seven of Swords. Man, this card is just making its rounds. That's treachery. Going outward in treachery. Now, it's interesting to me that I feel the correlation between keeping things to ourselves and we lose the clarity, and then we get into vengeance mode in the Seven of Swords because we never talked to anybody about it. We never got no grounding. We never got no clarity. We never got no outside opinions saying, no, don't do that. That's not a good idea. They can get off in their ego, right? Or the sense of, you serve me. The situation's got to serve me in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like, yeah, this is out of whack, is what I'm getting. I'm getting a sense that the Leo is in a position where they're feeling sadness. They're not going outward to anyone to gain any type of other perspective than their own. And their own perspective is a little out there. And that's the sense. It brings us to the Seven of Swords in the future. Why? Because we're not gaining perspective on this scenario that we're going through that's so upsetting. If we were actually, they're going, diffusement could happen. This energy could be diffused if we went outward and got counsel for this, is the sense. If we got counsel for what we're going through here, we could very much get out of that Seven of Swords card. They're throwing that card away. They're going, if we did, but we're not. We're keeping everything bottled up inside. Our mind is altered to a degree that we're not going to come up with sound decisions here. This is what we're going off in. Okay, let's get into the next row cards here. Clarify. See if we can turn this around. 5 of Cups. On top of that, again, this is past energy. So it's something that we've already gone through, that we're dealing with, the echoes of. The Wisdom card on top of that is the Vision card. Ooh, and that one's another one going around. Visions, everybody, right? Everybody is getting their clairvoyance, getting their abilities, getting their gut instinct. It's all coming. And we have to deal with that. And maybe it's something on a gut instinct that we feel, but maybe we don't have all the facts. Or maybe we need to go to the horse's mouth and figure out exactly what's going on. That could be as well. To clarify things. They said, we are not going outward to clarify. We're using our gut, and it's in the beginning phases. They're showing me pre-kindergarten in this intuition area. So we may get things wrong once in a while. You know, there's winds and whispers of stuff that can come into your field. And if we go and we jump on those things and expand them to a degree that is distorted, then we get things that are distorted. And what's happening here is we're getting a vengeance feeling. That's a distortion. You know, this is what's happening. So we got to be aware of that. But I think what it is we're gaining instinct, but it's like it's being exploded. This instinct is not being seen in the right light. So I mean, it's heavy. But we're jumping to conclusions here to the highest degree. So as we move on to the Hierophant, again, this is the stable energy that I feel like there's somebody in our sphere that we could possibly go to for wise counsel. That could be a counselor in itself. It could be someone in our church that we could just talk to and vent with. And they could say something to us to ground us out in more of a reality of things. Or it could be just a friend that we trust highly with our problems, situations, scenarios, that they're not going to go off blabbing to somebody else or use that information against us. This is the sense I'm getting. So on top of that Hierophant, the Wisdom card, the Fragment. Oh, here we go. Give me a moment here. Okay. Now we got a problem with this Fragment stuff. Because they're going... There's a reason that we're not going to this person for counsel. Now, as I saw it, they're making me aware, I was seeing things from the Leo perspective. Leo may have found someone or had someone in their sphere that they felt that they could talk to, but may have betrayed them, okay? Now, here's the problem. This Fragment, this Hierophant, when I get this Fragment card, it means things split. So if we got a high... Let's call it a priest, because that's the kind of energy. Someone you trust, someone will keep your secrets, someone that won't take advantage of what you said and throw it back at you in a mean way. This kind of priestly-like energy. This is the energy that the Hierophant carries, someone who's trusted and loyal. Now, when we put that Fragment energy, that means it splits into two. Opposition as well. And that's the sense I'm getting here, is this person was not all good. They were all good to us and, seemed like, but somewhere along the line they fragmented, they betrayed us, and now there's not, the Hierophant doesn't sit so high on his throne there, is the sense that I'm getting. So that could even be a parent type figure, masculine or feminine. But someone here that we can't, it's not that we should go out and we're not. It's almost like we can't because there's no one around us we can trust. Okay, so that's a flipping of the gears here. Because when I focus on a card, I get the energy in that moment. I get a little snapshot, and then as the cards open up, so does the viewpoint. And that viewpoint of someone betraying us was not there when I first started the 5 of Cups. When they were betrayed, there's a sense either maybe we don't know who betrayed us, but we were betrayed and we're feeling the pain of it, or we don't know now and we will find out in the future and feel vengeance toward that person because they're very two-faced, very fragmented. They're not who they say they are, to us anyway. Okay, ooh, complicated. There's a lot of, man, this session readings, it's getting heavy. It's heavy. So the fragment is never a good card. Yeah, this fragment card is a different kind of card. It splits things. Nothing's what it should seem to be. And not only that, it could be two-faced, this kind of stuff. So that's in the now. That's what's going on. And I feel like now that card takes over the Five of Cups because it's like, I want to go outward and tell someone, or maybe I should or I shouldn't, I don't know, but I'm in my grief and I wish I could have someone to tell, but I don't have anybody I can trust. Now the Seven of Swords, that's the treachery energy that we head into in the future. For some reason or another, it could be this Hierophant themselves, this person that put up a trustworthy front, that they're coming to us. If they're fragmented, then yes, somewhere they two-faced, and they said they were going to be true to us, but they turned out not to be. So on that Seven of Swords, we get the Moon card. Yeah. It is in darkness. Though the moon is full, it is the most illuminated the darkness could be. And that's the sense here. I get like there's an illumination here of somebody in our sphere that we thought we could trust, but is now untrustworthy. Okay? This is what's happening. Now, there may also be a sense here of not, I don't know, it's not denial because we refuse to go to that person for anything anymore because we know that they possibly could have betrayed us. Okay? And again, a lot of this is coming from our instinct, our gut reactions, or a clairvoyant image, or a daydream that we had just woke us up to something here. Our spidey senses went off. And we realized that, someone's not all they cracked up to be. The moon is here, saying that will continue as we go forward. I feel like because I was warned in the beginning, be careful we don't jump off, on tangents too heavily here. Because there's fact and there's gut reactions, and then there's flying off the handle of these gut reactions and exploding that energy to a degree that wasn't meant for the Leo. The Leo is getting little whispers and they're going out screaming. There's a distortion here. But nonetheless, it's complicated is the sense I'm getting. So we'll get into the third row here and see what happens. On the vision card again, we may be getting visions. We may have a lot of heavily armored gut reactions. Like, again, we're keeping it all in. We're not telling anybody or anywhere because it's kind of like we don't know who to trust, but we've got our sights set on a target. And be careful you don't jump off too far on that one target because there's still illusions to come here and there's still unveiling to come down the road. So we don't want to be exploding things too greatly on one end or in one particular area that we don't know for sure. So vision on top of that. The Shaman's card we get is 35 Lost Compass, getting back to integrity. Okay. Yeah. So I feel like that's on both parts. I feel like the Leo may have to check their own integrity at the door here. And they definitely are looking at someone else in the same way as to, did this person betray me or not? And that kind of is the feeling I get. And I think that's another reason why they're not going out or to talk and discuss it with anyone anyway, is because they're not quite sure. They're lost in all of this, and it's an illusion to them. And even though they've got gut reactions that kind of, put some weight there, they're not willing to bet 100 on it. So this is what's going on here. Now, again, this is past energy moving into the present. As we come to the present, the fragmented energy, somebody here is not what we thought they were, or is two-facing us, or betrayed us in some kind of way where we don't understand exactly what's going on. On top of that, we get Vanishing Mirror, Ego Sublimation 58. 3 and 1 is 4. So I feel like it stops here. Somebody's ego is really what's getting in the way here. I have a sense that obviously it's going to be a relationship between two people, but whether that's a romantic relationship or platonic, I don't know. But the sense here is somebody's in their ego too high, and the other person walked away because they're offended, or someone's in their ego too high here, where the other person betrayed them in a way that they did not foresee, if that makes sense. I kind of had to look up the word sublimation because it didn't sit right with me. It was kind of like empty because I didn't quite know where to put that. But a sublimation is like a constructive way to utilize it, right? And in the past reading, I said the death because that was the energy I was getting. Here, I get someone is going to have to learn to deal with their ego in a constructive way where it's not offensive. And I feel like somebody may be, and it may not be the Leo themselves. It could be because they're known for this, having a high ego and not really even realizing that they're offensive in that way. But the Seven of Swords, that treachery, it's like somebody wants to hurt us because of our ego, because who do you think you are? You're so inflated, but again, they're doing it in a covert way that it did hurt us. And yeah, I think we're unaware that it was our ego that caused all this problems, is what I'm getting. Because the sense that I'm getting is we have a Leo here, a tender-hearted Leo, who is hurt, who is disappointed. Again, may not be showing that on the outside or telling anyone, okay? But they're feeling it heavily. Now, they were betrayed by someone they didn't think would betray them in such a way. And it may not have been like, romance and cheating. It just may have been somebody, embarrassing them or making them feel bad to a degree that they had trust and information about the Leo and they let it go without knowing that the Leo didn't want that out. They didn't want what they discussed with them was private and personal. This other person didn't know that. But they took it out as kind of a jab to stab them in the ego to shut it down, is what I feel like this other person did. But it backfired because not only did we not put that person in their place, but they now refused to deal with us any longer. It was too harsh of a slap on the wrist kind of thing. It really stung the Leo. But because the Leo's not showing it, right? The other person's going, well, it didn't even affect them. So, I'm going to do it harder next time. Whatever. These are not great energies I'm working with here. But but this is the scenario I'm getting at two people. And it could be a friendship that kind of just, one person's getting sick of the other one being pompous. And they're, giving them the gears. Okay? Now, yeah, somewhere along the way, the ego has to be reworked, reassessed, reevaluated. And we need to get all of our spelling mistakes on our essay cleared up so we can deliver it in a proper manner. This is the sense that I'm getting. Now, I'll leave that there. I was going to go into the ego sense and all this stuff of fragment, but I'm not even bother. Because I feel like you are, whoever this friend or, person is that's going against you here that kind of humiliated you in public, is the sense I got, or in front of people to make a point. It's not the right way to do it. No, it's not. You're correct. It's not the right way. Now, because that person did that to you in such a way, we're going and crying over spilt milk in the shower. Nobody sees us feel any pain. Nobody hears us feel any pain. Nobody knows there's any pain. So that other person goes, well, that didn't work. I'll have to try another one. You know what I mean? And again, these are people we shouldn't be hanging with because obviously they're not there for our highest good. But it's a sense of not knowing how to communicate these things earlier. Or when they weren't so annoying. Or they weren't so, it could sound like a relationship. Right? You get annoyed to a degree and then you burst. I used to be like that. I still am to a certain degree with my son. I'm this way. But I try and tone it with other people. There's certain people that trigger me. No, there's no two ways, right? You always got to work on that. But this is someone who I feel like we got a long-term relationship with. It may be a friendship. but someone that's kind of either got a lot of going on in their world that's really annoying them. And usually this signals an evolution process in the spiritual realm, the emotional realm. And I feel like they're resisting the evolvement. Therefore, there's a lot of things that get under their skin easier than they normally would, to a degree that they are in their face all the time. So they're getting annoyed by this. Okay? And they're taking it out in your direction, Leo. Wrong thing to do? Absolutely. But they're doing it. They did it. Nonetheless, they hurt you. Now, the Leo is going in the closet crying and then coming out, cleaning themselves up and walking out with their hair flowing, all the things. This didn't affect me, but it did. So why are we lying about it? That's the thing. This friendship is a complete illusion, and it may even just disintegrate under the weight of evolvement. And if it's meant to come back, then both people separate, they evolve on their own, and they either come back together or they never join again. They realize they're two different people, and then they continue off in different directions. I feel like this is what's happening. I don't feel like the Leo has made up their mind whether or not they want to work on this or not. I feel like that other person is just frustrated with life and being cornered emotionally. They don't like that. So they lashed out, and this is what they did. This is the decision they made. Again, karma points. Yeah, Leo's got a karma point here. As long as they don't go back towards that person in vengeance. Laws of the universe. Which I don't know that they will. I think, frankly, they have been hurt badly, or more than this person perceives they hurt them, for sure. And more than the Leo wants to admit they've been hurt, for sure. And I think to a degree that they're just going to leave it be, like walk away. Unless the Seven of Swords person comes back, which they probably could. Character, I feel, is just kind of wishy-washy. There's very not enough depth there to understand what they're doing outward. Because again, maybe we need to have a talk and say, that hurt me. And I said to you those things in confidence, and you betrayed my confidence, and I don't know that I can repair that. Boom. There's the conversation that needs to be had. And then that person has to go, oh, I didn't even think you cared. This is what I'm going to get. That's what I feel I'm going to get. The Leo's going to get. It's like, I didn't even think you cared. It didn't affect you much. Oh, it affected me. But I didn't want to show you. But I'm telling you now, it affected me. To the degree I don't know if we can continue our friendship. Really. This is kind of what I'm getting. And that person is just going to have to deal with what happens. Now again, there's illusions in the future. This cat is not in the sunlight yet. They're just wandering around in the lavender fields. And the lavender is a symbol of higher vibrational stuff. There's a lot floating under the surface here. The best that we can do is communicate our emotions outward to the people that are directly involved. And if that makes no, makes no never mind, which is like makes no effect, then we just continue. And without that person is the sense that I get. Now, the last clarification card on top of the moon energy. Benefactor, grace, and generosity. Yeah, we can handle this with grace and generosity, or we can handle this with a spite and vengeance. I feel like that other person is going to expect spite and vengeance. And I feel like the Leo's going to be on pause for quite a while because they're going to decide whether or not they truly want this person around. Like, they did that, and it cut deep for the Leo. Like, it really did. That's what I'm getting. It's like they went too far. So it was really something that was heavily private, and this person should have known that, but again, they were trying to make it doesn't make it right. It's just, this is the scenario I'm seeing. This person really tried to make a point, and again, the Leo carries the ego quite well, and they will not acknowledge as much ego as you would get. Like if you had a Leo and a Pisces standing side by side, the Pisces would feel awfully awkward in that ego next to trying to compete with a Leo. But a Leo would feel very confident and regal and royal in there, and they go to higher heights and they'll just take it to the limit, but they don't understand that some people aren't used to it. Some people can't deal with that. Some people. take that in the wrong way. This is what I'm getting. Miscommunication through the ego and someone trying to smack them down for it. Again, that's not their place to do that. It's their place to communicate. And I mean, geez, I've gone through all these lessons. Not gone through. I still deal with all these lessons. There's times where I know with my son, I get in my ego, and man, he has a way. He has a way of just blowing it up without actually getting mad, which that is a gift. But basically what he does is he waits. He knows, don't deal with mama when she's in a mood. So he waits till I'm calm, and then he comes in, and then he'll just say something from the bottom of his heart, and you can't compete with that. And if it's the truth, you can't compete with that. You just you release, right? And there's a sense here of these two people needing to kind of release on this, but I do feel it's an evolution phase between two people, and maybe they can evolve together. They could separate and either come back together in the future, or maybe not at all. It just depends on how, karmically, whatever. There's a lot of factors here, but nonetheless, there's grace and generosity in your future. You can grab it if you want it. You can avoid it if you want it. You can remove it if you want it. But it's here for you as a chosen path that you can take to make things better. And again, there will be illusions in the future. Yeah. Okay. The divine animal card that we get for you, Leo. The swan. Yeah. And whenever I see swans, they speak to me in grace. Taking things with grace, and that would be just to kind of effectively go along the lines you're going, which is just feel your pain, heal from it, and release that person of anything, and don't look to that person, don't expect that person to keep any more of your secrets, is the sense. I feel like there was a point with these two people where they held up the end, but we got a frustration level on the other person's side that is just beyond, and they're doing things abnormally here. They're sparking out energy because they are unhealed in certain parts. It is not your, it's not your thing to go in there and become the psychiatrist and fix everything. Just do what you feel in your nature to do. And I feel like the lane is going to be open here to just kind of put your hands up and back off. Beep, beep, beep. I'm just backing away. I'm not going to create chaos. I'm not going to come in and try and mend things. I'm just going to back up, take my time to heal, and then after that point where we're at, then I'll go from there. There's not a lot of energy being put on the Leo side other than I'm angry and mad. Like, not angry, but I'm sad and disappointed in my friend. And I need time to heal from this. And if you're not here, that's fine. I can deal with that. In fact, if you're here, it will not go well. So you stay away. And I think that person knows the Leo enough that they are staying away. But they figure that it's like an elastic, it's just going to snap back. It ain't going to snap back the same this time. This Leo's been hurt beyond, and again, that's not communicated. Nobody knows this. They're going to find that out in the future. So, Leo, just stand in your grace. Be generous with yourself and your healing, and then reassess down the road. That's really what I get. The swans are a animal of beauty. Everything they do, to me, the swan is the most romantic animal in the world. You ever see them mating dance, whatever? It's just the most, it makes me cry. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just a purity, and it's just such a graceful way that they move their heads, and they're in sync, and, and that's two people, well, not two people, two swans, two entities coming together to, and I feel like this is not, at one point, we felt like that was our swan, but at this point, it's not. Because that person really has a lot of stuff to deal with, and like I said, maybe you're meant to deal with that on your own for a while, and then you reassess in the future. I have a big empty space there, and this is what is needed. This is what is needed. So we'll leave it at that. They want me to tell you this could possibly be a twin flame. If it is such, leave it alone. Let it go. Let it evolve on its own, because the more that you evolve together, the more damage you could do and then never possibly have any chance of getting back together. So if it is a romantic partner, take your grace and your beauty and your generosity and use it on yourself, and then reassess down the road. Man, Leo, that was a heavy one in a different kind of way. That's your spirituality reading for October, November of 2024. Happy Halloween. Take care. Have fun and be kind.